Welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Chris McGee, Robert Ory, James Worthy, Wet Alley, and Mike Trudell down at Crypto.com Arena. The Lakers end the season on a 3-game win streak. They finished with an impressive 53 wins on the season. And with Denver beating the Spurs, the Lakers secure the 4th overall spot. They will open with Houston next weekend here in downtown Los Angeles. Before we get to all that, let's talk about this game. I know you guys were really happy with the way this team came out and attacked this game. Very businesslike, opened up a big lead. Everyone played, James. All 14 guys scored.
You know, Geeter, for the way the Lakers finished the season, you know, and for the effort that the guys are putting out, getting ready to go into the playoffs, I want to give just
oh, wow, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Just a little bit of, we got baby Jonathan in the house, too. I just want to give him just a little bit of worthy clap.
Oh, that's funny.
My pick for the game, Bronny James came in, patient. But to your question, Geeter, the Lakers were really looking forward to moving forward now. You can tell that they took this game seriously, even though they didn't need to win. It didn't make a difference. LeBron came in. He knows he's got to lead these guys. He wanted to get out there and get rhythm with them. You know, I think Ayton is going to be key. You know, his efficiency in the paint. Rui is another guy. They're going to have to step up. You're talking about 2 guys that are going to have to replace Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves as far as, you know, picking up the pieces a little bit. Those 2 guys are next in line. Kennard's another one. But I thought, as you look at these 2 guys tonight, both 22 points, high efficient from the field, rebounds. I love the additional rebounding from Rui. He's usually down with 3 or 4 rebounds. He gets up into that 7 to 8, 9 rebounds a game going out. That's going to be very beneficial for the Lakers. So I thought, you know, they got the rhythm they needed. Now it's time to get ready for the first round.
For me, it was very important for them to get the rhythm and to get to understanding one another. Because you think about this starting lineup, we hadn't seen this starting lineup together a lot, and this is probably the starting line we got to go with. You know, and to capitalize on what James just said about Rui. Rui is one of the most athletic guys on his team, but his rebounding doesn't show it. So he has to know he's got to step up in this situation and get a lot of rebounds. And going over to, you know, Marcus Smart. You know, he was very smart tonight, getting a lot of guys involved, especially DA, who had the 10, you know, the double-double, which we need to have each and every night from here on out. But I like the fact that Marcus Smart had 10 assists. He was getting everybody involved. But my only concern is Luke Kennard right now. I know he only played a couple of minutes. I just hope he's fine because we definitely going to need him to be that extra scorer and that extra eyes on the floor.
Yeah, you saw that graphic right there. 44 points between the 2 of them, Rui, and 8 and 20 rebounds, which we love, and they were a combined 18 for 26. DeAndre Ayton had that pep in his step today. You could tell by the way he was running the floor, kind of demanding the ball, getting his own offensive rebounds, catching a lot of lobs. So it was nice to see Rui and Ayton because without AR and Luka, those are your next 2 guys.
Yeah.
That have the ability to give you 20 on any given night. And that's what they're going to have to do if you're going to survive in the first round of playoffs.
And Ayton has proved off and on this season. I mean, I'm going back to the run that they were on, especially when they played Denver here at home. He had a really good game against Jokic, got a block against him. You know, we know that he has potential. He just had to have his mind ready at the beginning of the game, and I do think Marcus Smart is the one guy that recognizes that. You got to get him the ball, get him some lobs, get him involved, and he'll stay involved. But sometimes when he's setting picks and popping, not getting the touches, and it becomes kind of tough for him to stay in the game.
I think when you talk about Luka and you talk about AR, they're not traditional pick and pop guys like, you know, Marcus Smart is. Because when the Marcus Smart comes out, he's going to look to give it to the big. You know, Luka's going to look at the, you know, navigate unless he knows it's a direct line of lob, but he's going to look to try to score, and AR is the same. But I think when DA knows that, okay, if I set a pick and roll for these 2 guys, I got a 95% chance I'm going to get the rock. So he's engaged, and that's what you got to be engaged. And I know, you know, when we talk about the playoffs, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
And we know DA has been to the finals. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
He's been to the finals with the Suns. So he has a lot of experience. And I think sometimes when you have guys who had a lot of experience, you know, a lot of success early, they kind of get, you know, I'm coming from me. Sometimes the regular season like do-do-do-do-do, you know, but when the playoffs come around, because we hadn't seen DA in the playoffs in a while. So I'm really interested to see how he handled the playoffs because when you smell playoffs, it's a different type of energy, it's a different type of emotion.
I've often, you know, not debated, but talked to a lot of people about that, because you put so much emphasis on the regular season and you want everyone to be here the whole time. It's impossible to be here the whole time. The great teams have another gear and have another level. I mean, you guys have a lot of experience in that. When it's playoff time, KD, a lot of experience. They're stepping up. Lakers have to take another step up.
Yeah,
and that's where experience comes into play.
Look, I can remember, and this is a long time ago, but I can remember, you know, guarding Larry Bird on a Tuesday night.
I thought you said when dinosaurs roam. I thought you were going to say that.
That too. I got some bones. But I can remember guarding Larry Bird on a Tuesday night. You know, getting into New York on Wednesday night, guarding Bernard King.
Yeah.
Take Thursday night off, going to Philly. Now I got to guard Dr. J. So yeah, and during the regular season, you're not going to be as consistent as you are. When you get one team, you got 2 or 3 players to concentrate on. You got video to look at. You don't have to travel as much. You should have a better percentage efficiency in the playoffs because of that. You know, like I said, less travel, focusing on 2 or 3 things, and you just make changes from game to game. So I think that benefits the Lakers that they're going to be focusing on one team as opposed to, you know, having 2 guys out and having to navigate around from team to team. It might be beneficial for them to be focused on one team at a time coming up with the Rockets.
When you look at the 25-26 playoffs, no one's going to have more games played than LeBron James. In his 23rd season, he is once again going to lead this team into the postseason. And Rob, he came out tonight, only played that first half, right? He had 18 points in 17 minutes. He had the 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. Does he look ready to you?
Yeah, you know, LeBron is like, you know, James, you remember this, the cars you had to put in the crank in the front?
Yes, sir.
To get him going. That was like him tonight. This was his crank to get him going. He's one of those guys, now that he smells the playoffs, his energy and his focus is going to be heightened. He's going to be ready to go. You know, he's going to do everything properly to get him ready, but he's also going to pass along the knowledge. He's going to get these other guys, hey, this is what you need to do for us to get past this first round and get further into this playoff. So that's the one thing that's so amazing about this guy, that he's experienced everything when it comes to the playoffs. He's the #1 guy in playoff games played. He's the #1 guy in games played, period. So why don't you just listen to this guy and take, you know, and follow him? You know, if I'm a player in the locker room with LeBron right now, I'm like, yo, man, what do you do to prepare for this upcoming journey? Because I'm going to kind of try to copy that so my body can be ready. So that's one of the things you can always lean on when you got guys like this that's in your locker room.
He's been in just about every scenario there is. You know, down, 3-0 against Golden State, comeback.
3-1.
3-1, big-time comeback. So what he's trying to show these guys is, look, I know we're without Luka and Austin, and if anybody can get down, LeBron can get down while he's driving his car on the way home. But he's not going to let these guys know that we have a deficit. Look, I'm here. You guys are here in the NBA. Let's see what we can do. We got home court advantage. We worked too hard for that. Let's go. Guys have to pick up the pieces, and I think they have enough veteranism, as Rob would say. You got Kennard, you got Rui, you got Ayton, who's been in the playoffs, and then you got guys coming off the bench like Jake LaRavia, who's a hard-playing, tough-nosed kid. So they just got to see what they can do. Upsets are made for the playoffs, and they're in the perfect position to do so. I think they can get past the Rockets. In my opinion, it's just when you get to the second round, that's when it's going to get kind of touchy.
And we were right when we were all sitting together watching the game and guessing when they were going to play. It is now official. They're playing 5:30 on Saturday night.
They're playing on Saturday?
Yes.
What?
And I think the 1 and 2 seeds and the play-in teams all play on Sunday. Remember, because the play-in.
That's Saturday.
So that's why Rob, you're not. I know Rob likes the Lakers on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's Saturday the 18th?
Saturday night, 18th.
What does the NBA?
I'll be done with golf.
What the NBA doing, David? Adam. Adam, what are you doing, man? We play on Sunday.
Saturday, 5:30, primetime game.
Oh, it's 5:30?
Yeah.
Let me write that in my head.
Yeah, is that why your phone's going crazy right there?
No, that's my wife.
Listen, I just want to say, wait. Luka, AR, LeBron, they combined to miss 73 games. Marcus Smart missed a handful of games. Jackson Hayes, a lot of guys, right? Props to this Laker team for 53 wins in the regular season. Congrats to this man right here. JJ Redick did a great job. Brought to you by your Toyota dealers. Here he is talking with Mike Trudell in the media.
We just found out you guys will play the Houston Rockets in the first round Saturday. I guess just what's your first blush thought of meeting that team?
Yeah, I mean, again, we have tried for the last 6 weeks to to build towards the playoffs, both in our mentality, with our habits, all that stuff. We knew the reality, whether we got 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it was. There's no easy matchup. There's all those teams, slotted there are tough teams. Whether it was going to end up being, Denver, Minnesota, or Houston. Houston's obviously a really, really good basketball team, and we're gonna prepare, and we're gonna fight, and we're gonna go try to win the series. That's going into today, we told the team, like, it's not about the opponent, it's about us, and now it is about the opponent, and we're gonna do everything we can to get our guys in a great frame of mind, great physical shape over the next 4 or 5 days, and be ready to play.
JJ, you had mentioned at some point on the last trip about how trying to elongate the season long enough in round one so that Luka and Austin would have a chance to come back. But at the same time, you're focused on this group that you've been building through these couple of days. How do those meet in the middle as you kind of prepare and think big picture about the postseason?
Yeah, again, it's the task at hand. We got game one, whenever that is. With the group that we have, and figure out the best way for us to put ourselves in a position to win game one.
JJ, Jake played his 82nd game. We've talked about it throughout this season, but just the way the season's gone, very unpredictable, guys in and out. Just what's that consistency from Jake meant, not only his availability, but in the consistency that he plays with? Yeah,
he's been huge for our team. First of all, to play 82 games, particularly now, is a huge accomplishment. I think 18 guys did it this year in the entire NBA. He takes a lot of pride in taking care of himself and doing all the things necessary to get ready to play. And he set that as a goal this year. Really, happy for him on a personal level, but also just for our team. He's brought a really high level of consistency, particularly on the defensive end, and with his effort throughout the season.
I know you're going to obviously spend the next 5-6 days prepping for the series, but is there anything strategy-wise at the top of the list when you think about the Houston Rockets in terms of what you have to control on your end, the controllables for your end?
Not there yet.
Can you talk about the culture you wanted to build here when you took the job, and the culture that you have built in terms of back-to-back, top 4 seeds? You said that I don't want to be in the play-in, I want to be in the playoffs. Well, not only that, you have home court. Talk about the culture that this team has right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I think with both seasons, I used the word the other day, or the phrase the other day, we've had to coach a bunch of different ways in both years. Partially because last year, we basically had 3 different teams if you look at the 3 segments of the season, and this season with the injuries and just how disjointed it felt to times, I think the biggest thing for our players to see from obviously myself, but our staff is just how relentless we are about trying to get these guys prepared, how relentless we are about trying to win, and I think our guys respond to that, and I think the results have have shown that they've responded. But I think overall, the culture piece, it's not just about winning or a winning formula. It's about how we as coaches and we as players, how we all interact and interface with each other, and it's never going to be perfect. But I think the level of respect that our guys have for each other, that our coaches have for our guys, it's there every day.
Hey, JJ, 17 assists for Marcus Smart in the last 2 games. How underrated has his playmaking aspect been missed for this team, and how vital is it now going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big reason, we wanted to bring Smart here, not just for his defense, even post-Boston, the last couple seasons, he's graded out well as a secondary playmaker. So he's been in that position before. He knows how to get other guys involved. You know, tonight he had a great feel for getting DA involved, and I think, you know, it's important with the loss of AR and Luka, you know, that is not just all on Luke and LeBron to be playmakers. You know, Smart can fill in with that too.
Hey, Coach, over here. What are some things you've seen from this team over the last week that you hope to carry over into this series?
Resiliency. The playoffs to me are all about resiliency, and part of that is the euphemism or idiom, as Dan likes to say, of not letting go of the rope. You know, you're playing one opponent in the playoffs, and there's a bunch of things that are going to happen, some good, some bad. You may get down in a series. You may get down in the game. You may get down in a game on the road, and just you have to play with resiliency. There's a Dermot Kennedy line, and I'm forgetting it right now, but I think the team that is unwilling to let go of the rope for the longest amount of time, that's ultimately obviously the team that wins the series.
Let's get to the highlights. J.J. Redick and LeBron James, last game of the regular season, game number 82.
He's getting a lot of experience under Coach J.J. Redick and his coaching staff, hitting some shots. He has some bounce. He has some speed. He's just got to find a game that works for him. So I like his performance.
Awesome. DeAndre Ayton with the media.
I feel good. You know, I think all season we've been playing this, playing into the next man up mentality. You know, just, you know, guys being in and out of the season, and we've been fighting through the adversity, and I think, you know, we have a good plan of, you know, how we'll approach this during the playoffs.
How badly do you need to have a healthy Luka and a healthy Austin?
Most definitely badly. You know, those are you just named two guys that is, you know, basically half and half of the whole team, and you know, to me, I think we're picking up our level of intensity when it comes to effort. You know, our effort level is you know, making up for a lot of our mistakes, and you know, we're taking pride on the defensive end as well to create rhythm on the offensive end. So you know, there's a total different team now, but you know, we're sticking to the togetherness part of it, you know, to finish off these games.
Yeah, tonight's game, you had a nice evening, but just to finish out with a blowout the way you did, what was tonight's game like for you?
I really just wanted to be on the boards, you know, knowing that they didn't have no rim protection, and you know, really just close out possessions, not give them second chances, and you know, just have our guys run, and you know, just change momentum, you know, get the crowd into it a little bit, and you know, just try to bring some joy and momentum and some fun, you know, and closing this out the right way. So it was some motivation as well.
Yeah, lastly, I want to say you finished in a 4th spot. I mean, how would you assess the regular season? How did it go, do you think, overall?
I think it went well. You know, unfortunately, we had a lot of, you know, bad injuries, but, you know, I felt like, you know, the way how we approached it and, you know, just let adversity settle in. You know, you see the outcome. We didn't do too bad, and you know, I'm glad we got guys like LeBron on the team and Marcus, you know, just to lead us through all of this. You know, when we don't have our main guys.
Oh, now y'all won't pull up. I'm on the 7-8 question, right? Thank you very much. I'm about to be done. Yeah.
You guys are going to have Houston in the first round.
How do you know this?
How do I know it?
Yes.
The league announced it.
When? I didn't get a chance to do that. Let me get a chance to go look at it, man. You surprised? Supposed to be a surprise, bro.
Surprise?
You just blew it up. Just ruined the damn surprise. I wanted to see who I got in the playoffs, and he just go ahead and spilled the tea.
You know who you guys playing in the playoffs?
No, I don't.
Oh, you want to know?
No. No. I would like to look at my phone.
Look at your phone.
And when I'm done with this, I'd like to look at my phone and see who I got. Tell me who I got.
I don't know.
All right. Go look at your phone. What you saying, though?
You guys got Houston. I'm sorry to spoil it. Just where can you draw from the games you guys played against them? I think it was in March. I know it was different context, you know, of guys, but can you take anyway from those games?
I would say those were intense games. You know, they gave us playoff atmosphere, you know, with the fans and the crowd. But, you know, just different concepts and strategies on how they attacked us. And, you know, I felt like it was a defensive game for us in the second effort type of game where we have to turn up the level of intensity quite a bit, you know, playing against their type of versatility.
All right, DeAndre Ayton, guys. DeAndre Ayton had a nice little game there, Rob.
Yes, what, 22 and 10, or 20 and 10, or whatever it is. You know, when you look at the playoffs that are about to happen, to me, he is the biggest key to this series. You know, because we always know what the superstars are going to do, but we got 2 of them missing. And you always have to look at guys who's going to be able to step up. And, you know, you want guys to step up, but do they have the capability to step up? And this guy does have that. So he's going to be so important. So I hope he get his mind right, and everybody on this squad, you know, they look to him. Because when you have a guy like him on your team, your first couple of plays should be to him. Feed him and see how he's going, and then adjust your system to that. So hopefully JJ and the coaching staff will realize that he's going to have to go at Sengun, because Sengun is going to go at him. So if he gets in foul trouble, and there's no knock on everybody else that plays that center spot, but I just think he, you know, I think he shot 60% on the year or something crazy like that. And it's not just, you know, points in the paint, it's just little jump shots. So he's going to have to be that key guy to step up. If he can average 20 and 10 in this series, I think the Lakers move on.
I don't think that's asking too much from him. I don't think he.
No,
I think he would agree.
He could be a double-double guy every night. You know, but you have to activate him. You know, I understand players like that. You have to call their plays, and I think, like I said it earlier, Marcus Smart sees that. It looks like he's from the outside looking in and says, if we get Ayton involved, we get some high percentage shots in the paint. Like Rob said, give him a little sugar. Then he's involved. Then he's blocking shots. He's talking. He does a really good job on the defensive end, by the way, of, you know, directing traffic, you know, zoning up and being there for protection. So he's a good player. He just needs to be activated.
All right, first round, Rockets.
Yeah.
Dang it.
You're going to have to start getting tickets for your family.
There you go, my boy's going to be calling me. I know my phone will be ringing in a second.
All right, we're talking Rockets a little bit. James, what are you thinking about for this first round of the series? We've seen them 3 times. Obviously, the Christmas Day game when AR got hurt, Rockets blew the Lakers out. But the last 2 times, obviously, Luka and AR were playing. The Lakers were whole, but those were 2 great games in Houston with the Lakers getting the dub.
Yeah, we're going to be without, you know, those 2. So you're going to be, you know, short offensively, you know, for sure. So I'm not worried about, you know, I think collectively it's hard to make up, you know, practically almost 55 points or 50 points a game, but they're capable of doing it together. And I think, you know, defensively, you got Sengun, you got Durant, you got guys that you don't have to pay attention to. Yeah, Thompson. But I really think the Lakers, if they play together and if they move from this game on into the next game with the defensive principles, I like what Jake has been doing. I like what Max has been doing. Vanderbilt's coming off the bench, you know, with some effort. They're going to need all that, but I think the 2 guys is going to be key, as we've been mentioning, are Ayton and Rui.
Obviously, one of the big storylines in this series is going to be rebounding. The Rockets are the best offensive rebounding team in the league, and we saw the trouble that they caused the Lakers in those games. That's going to be a big focus for this Laker team.
Well, I
think
think
a young, athletic team.
Yeah, when you look at the Rockets, their average height is 6'9" out there when they play, and so you got to put a body on them, because those guys that they have.
2 points. He's at the podium.
Rui, first, just a big picture question to get to the win total that you had in the 4 seed and you know, home court in round 1, despite all the injuries and all the guys that have been missing. What do you think was the key to that for this team?
I think it was a chemistry. You know, I think I talk about a lot about chemistry. You know how important, especially in the basketball. You know, it's team sports. You know, we all know we all need each other. You know, I think get through this season, especially 82 games, really long. You know, a lot of things happening, injury, different lineups, you know, trade, everything. So I think that this year we had a good chemistry, you know, fight through 82 games, and that's why we got this seed. So yeah, I think.
And then more short term, what did you find these last 3 games, and kind of especially since Marcus got back with him, with Luke Kennard, with LeBron, you know, back in control, and you, how does that group? Have you found a way as you head to the Houston Rockets series?
Yeah, and especially, you know, Luka and AR's out. You know, it's a different game a little bit, you know, but I think we kind of understand, you know, our roles in each individual. You know, we have the you know different things they need to do, but I think at the end of the day, we know what our goal is, and I think we fight through these past 3-4 games, and we got what we wanted. So, yeah, we got to keep rolling.
Rui, I think it was last game where JJ was kind of praising the overall physicality with the defense. Now that Marcus is back, just how much more does he add to that, and how important is that, especially, moving into the playoffs?
Yeah, I know the playoff is the totally different game, every year I learned that, literally, the first game of the playoff is the next day is like literally sore, because how physical we get, and I think especially we play Houston, right? So the Houston's a very physical team, very athletic team. So we gotta be ready for that. But I think Marcus back is he helps, and yeah, we're gonna be ready for it by then.
Rui, JJ has mentioned a few times that he felt like last year he did not do the best in terms of preparing you guys just for the physicality of that series against Minnesota. I guess what needs to happen this upcoming week so you guys are more prepared or are ready for, you mentioned it yourself, the physicality that Houston's going to bring in the series?
I think, especially like it was a long season, so we kind of, we need to rest a couple of days, I feel like. With the practice, I don't know how we practice him, but I think we have to do the things that they do actually. The Houston's like there's a of course KD and the other guys being physical. They're all going to offensive rebounds. So we gotta practice those boxes now. As a team, we have to. 5 guys gotta get on the defense rebound. So yeah, I think we can do a lot of things. But I think and tomorrow we get off and yeah we gotta rest our body first.
Robert?
Yes, sir.
Are you breaking down Rui?
Yes, I'm going to show you what RH does. The RH factor is real, and it's going to have to be really real when the playoffs start off.
Flames for James.
If he can do certain things like we showed tonight or what he showed tonight, it's going to be important. Because look at this pick and roll, little post up. Now he got a shorter guy on him, and we know how athletic he is. But here, he's seeing the situation. What can he do? Can he score or pass it? And this is one thing I'm impressed. He's a willing passer, even though he gets off his feet, and he shouldn't have. But look, he goes to his favorite spot. Pump fake, relocate, go to the hole, little razzle dazzle right there for the layup. And that's one of the things that we don't really see much out of Rui this year because he's more of a spot-up shooter. That's why he's going to lead the top 5 in three-point percentage. Now the defense, look at the defense not even paying Rui any attention, but back up, get to your sweet spot, get your hands ready, catch. And the thing about Rui, when he shoots his 3, he's not in a rush. That's probably why he's been shooting so well, because he gets his feet set and does what he needs. Now, this is a great little flare screen right here. Oh, that's Max. I thought it was with Timmy for a second. Nice little pick there by Max to get him open. Now, you saw his form. It's so smooth and it's exact. And I talk about it all the time when you shoot threes. Your form has to be the same. Now you get the defensive class. Look. Get open. Another great screen by Max. Look at his form. It's the exact same. It's almost like deja vu when you see it. And that's why he's been shooting the ball so well this season from 3, because when he shoots it, everything is the same. And that's what you got to be. Consistency. Consistent in shooting, consistent in everything you do.
Big game. I'll jump in there.
Great breakdown, Rob. And, it also has to do with the ball movement as well. They had a good game tonight. I think they had over 37 or 6 or something like that tonight. So when the ball is moving, which is something we talked about earlier, when Luka has the ball, he holds it a little bit longer. Same with Austin. That's great when they're on the court. But without them on the court, if it's moving, I think that's where everybody gets to be involved, not just 2-3 players, all 5 on the floor.
And by the way, the rebounding, and Rui talked about this. This is something we've been talking about since Rui has been here. He's capable, Rob, of having these double-digit rebound games like he had tonight. And he even mentioned that's a strength of the Rockets.
He has to be that. He has to put in his mind.
On set for a showdown in the first round. 26 points a game for KD, 21 for LeBron. You see the stats right there. 2 of the all-time greats squaring off. Marcus Smart with Allie Clifton in the media.
Marcus, when you think of the regular season, first and foremost, how would you just quantify it for this team?
I'll probably have to say, oh, shit, excuse me, just how it's supposed to be. I'm a big believer in, things happen for a reason, and we're in the place at the very moment we're supposed to be, because that's where we're supposed to be. So we can't control certain things, and that's part of life. That's part of the game we play, and anything that you do. So I think to describe the regular season, I say it's right where we're supposed to be.
Marcus, are you a believer throughout your career in home court being an advantage in the postseason?
To a certain extent. You still got to go out there and play, but it does help.
Marcus, JJ was talking about the next week, the emphasis is going to be health and spirit. Where would you say the team spirit is right now after everything you guys have been through? And yeah,
a little bit over half, if we had to put a number on it. Just for the simple fact, we lost 2 of our brothers, right? And, we've been going to war with those guys, battling the ups and the downs with them. So, it does bring you down. But we understand that opportunity is at play for everybody else to step up. And that is raising our spirits and also our confidence.
What does this mean for you to be back in the playoffs?
It means everything. It has been a minute, but for me, this is where things tend to start going up for me, and my play starts to turn up. So I'm very excited to be back in the playoffs. I'm very excited to be on this team and help them, do what we can and win some games and go as far as we can go. We don't know how far that is, but we're going to go out there and fight till we can't fight no more, and that's what I'm very excited about.
Marcus, what are the top line items you guys have to be cognizant of playing the Houston Rockets?
Say it again, I'm sorry.
What are the top line items you got to kind of prep for playing the Rockets?
KD and Sagoon, we know that for sure. Those are the 2 headed snake. And then obviously we're making sure we can keep those guys under control. Can't let those other players get off as well. We got to be able to maintain them as well. But focus is those 2 guys, and just going out there and making it as tough as possible.
All right, still the